Are we live? Hello, everyone. We are the Three Morons. We are live in the air everywhere. I am Zach.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Carl. So welcome to the Three Bars Podcast, episode 8. We are going to make a tribute to two people that have passed away. One of them with the benefit going on right now, Mike Gerard, is dedicated to him. And then also my dog passed away this week, Husker. So we're going to give our heartfelt sympathies to him. And so this is what this episode is dedicated to. And we want to get into the Alabama safety that passed away. So you want to take that, Zach?
Yeah, so he was 16 years old. He was a junior quarterback in high school. He got tackled in the third quarter, got injured, taken to the hospital, and he died of brain injuries. Traumatic brain injury killed him. So it's just one of those things. One of those things that happens is freak accident, kind of like DeMar Hamlin.
Yep.
You know, it's just a routine tackle. You're gonna get hurt.
Yep.
It's just an unfortunate event.
Mm-hmm.
They did cancel this week's games and upcoming sporting events for the near future. I mean, understandably so. With this being said, though, for football, is there something that I know they're trying to do in the NFL and college that special helmet practice? Is there some kind of technology that you think they're gonna try to do to limit some of these injuries?
They have that helmet thing, and I know Jake and I have had discussions about it with the on top of the helmet, the crown, and everything. And I think Jonathan Taylor was one of the ones that you mentioned, Jake. That go ahead, go ahead.
There is a thing called there's a collar that some NFL players wears called a concussion collar that puts pressure on your neck that kind of helps with put not much blood flow into your head that limits concussions. Some professional Tony Pollard wears one. I think a couple other professional players do wear them, and they are mostly effective.
Okay, so that's gonna help with the concussions and that, but with I mean the routine plays, right?
Yeah.
So is there anything that is the NFL, but is there any company out there, anything you think they're gonna try to, without taking away tackling?
Obviously
flag football like we're doing in the Olympics. Are they gonna? You think they're gonna try to change the way, or is this just something that I mean? Being so close with the DeMar Hamlin and the NIST, like it's not like it was like 10, 15 years apart.
Right,
it's
right.
Like 2 years apart kind of thing.
Yeah.
And being with high school takes any more steps further than you would in maybe college. Is the fact they are kids.
Well, I mean, these higher up schools, high schools like Florida, Texas, California, that you would think have more money invested in. I think you start seeing it that way. It's going to be a while before it trickles down to like where we're at in Iowa, rural Iowa. Some of these schools
won't happen. It probably will never.
It probably will never happen
unless the government or some company like Tesla makes something and just distributes to all the high schools because they got billions of dollars to do that.
Well, I'm not trusting Elon Musk to save my brain. So
well, look.
Right.
I mean,
he's smart, and he's got a good car. And
he can make a car that drives itself, but you gotta stay awake for it. But I mean, some of these schools that may have rich alumni that don't have money, like maybe Rick View has someone like I'm just gonna throw a name out there. Like say The Rock went to a small school, and he would donate money to them to get that, so that could help some of these schools.
Okay.
I don't think they can do any more than they're already doing. Like we're talking about Chris Watson changing the way he's doing some training so he saves his hamstrings. We'll see if that even works. Injuries are going to happen.
No
matter what happens, right? You can protect without taking away tackling. It's going to happen on routine plays.
It will, because you would think like bigger hits, you would think that would be the ones that like break a leg or tear ACL or get a concussion. It's actually the smaller hits that really knock you down. And honestly, it is like the way that DeMar Hamlin got up from his tackle and just collapsed. Like never seen before.
You didn't think anything of it.
Didn't think anything of it.
Just like you're talking about, the MCL and ACL tears, right? That just happens with a cut, right?
Yeah.
One of my biggest fears is because, I've run on the treadmill a little bit more, is actually tearing my ACL on the treadmill. And then now you're really screwed because you tear your ACL, you fall, and then the treadmill sends you back. But yeah, I don't think anything's going to happen. our condolences with the family.
Right.
I mean, it's just a tragic event,
But-
and the fact that you lose your son or any child just
Right.
like that.
Well, they have evolved from the helmets because I remember in 2002 they introduced those new helmets. One of the big names that did those helmets was Peyton Manning and Mark Brunell. They used to wear the 3-ring ones, and it looked goofy. And then they come out with the new design. Might have protected. I don't know. You don't know what the CTE comes and how their brains are right now. But I know everybody here would take an ACL injury over that.
Oh
being
yeah, I
messed
mean
up
look
any day.
at what's his name retired early, Andrew Luck.
Because
he
of
retired
injuries.
early because he was getting sacked so many times,
In
injuries and everything like that. He's like, you know what? I want to be done on my own time.
Yeah.
I think you're going to start seeing that before anything else really is. You're going to see star players play. Calvin Johnson.
Yep.
10 years in the league, maybe not even. Andrew Luck didn't do 10 years. I think Calvin did about 10.
Calvin did 10. I think
Andrew did about 6.
6 to 8. Yeah. So you're going to see that, I think, come more.
Yep.
Is you're going to see people playing less time.
And like
You're not going to see kids try out for football anymore.
I mean,
either.
especially with college
Right.
getting paid,
Right.
you're going to see less people.
Right.
right, one of the biggest thing is that CTE they can't test for it until like post-mortem.
So
But
you
it's-
already have it too. Like you said, you're dead. You've already had the injury.
I mean, like
You're-
some signs is it like Alzheimer's, like
right until
bad behavior.
until you've already progressed everything you can from it. You
A-
can test
a-
the Alzheimer's.
a
Yeah.
form of dementia. I mean, I don't know what else you could say. Like
yeah.
not knowing where you're at. Like
Um,
one of the things, like Warren Sapp said. Sorry, Jake. One of the things Warren Sapp said, like he woke up in the middle of the night. He didn't know where he was at. And he was in his own house.
Yeah, some notable players that had it: Demaryius Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Marius Thomas,
some
Junior
Nick-
Seau.
Say was a big
80.
one.
Most of the players from the '85 Bears.
Steve Michael had it, didn't he?
Who?
Steve McMichael, also a four horseman.
Yeah,
I think he had it too.
it is. I don't think it's just football.
Well, he was also wrestling after football, so he just kept taking
Oh,
more hits to the
McMichael?
head.
But you see it.
McMichael, yeah, Steve McMichael.
I'm saying that
Yeah,
they
he's
started.
still alive though, but with ALS.
Yeah, but I think he has CTE.
yeah.
But I'm starting to say that you start seeing it more in hockey now too, when they take shots to the head, falling on the ice or whatever.
And
Right.
and speaking of hockey, let's change the topics. I mean, our condolences also out to the Goudreau family,
Yep, lost
Johnny and Matthew. 31-year-old Johnny, Johnny Hockey, Columbus
Mhm.
Blue Jackets. Matthew Goudreau, I think, played for the Calgary Flames.
Calgary Flames.
Yeah, I mean, great hockey players, especially Jonathan. And they were just riding their bicycles in New Jersey. There to attend their sister's wedding, I believe.
Yep.
And driver attempted to pass people and hit him, and he's being investigated also for under the influence.
Right.
It's just to show tragedy can strike anywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just riding a bicycle.
Yep.
It's unfortunate. It's I don't know. It's unpredicted, and we talked about this earlier, and I think we all came to kind of thing. You can't really change the law based off of it.
No.
Meaning, if you can't ride bicycles on the sidewalk in some states, if you can't ride your bicycle there, do you do that now? Well, I mean, sure, you could put them on the sidewalk, and they probably could be alive. But we also mentioned if the driver was drunk and turns, who's to say he doesn't go on the curb and hit somebody?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
people have gotten hit on the curb walking.
Right.
A friend of mine used to say this old joke, and it's a terrible joke, but it was like, if you want to avoid my driving, stay off your lawn, because he
Right, stay on the roads. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Hell, stay off the sidewalks. They got the license now.
Right. So, and then then we're not trying to make what happened with them to a joke. No, that's not what it is at all, because that's just a tragic loss. These two were just innocently riding a bike and then not expecting to never come back to their families. That's sad.
And I think, I mean, at that point, and I said this the other day talking to my family, is there for a wedding. The wedding was Friday. They got hit Thursday.
Yeah.
Do you have the wedding? Because all the money and stuff that planned. I mean, I understand the brothers' money can help out with, funeral costs and stuff later or whatever. But I mean, it's gonna be a sad wedding. I mean, it's gonna be more of a funeral than a wedding vibe.
You might as well have the funeral right then.
But
there if you have
everyone's
everybody.
family coming in. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
or do you have the wedding knowing that day, so we're not missing the funeral? You just have to put.
Right.
But I mean, at that point, you had the wedding, the honeymoons. The last you just had the wedding. Now you got to go bury your brothers. But it's just
Right.
been a sad week for sports. I mean, you got the 16-year-old, you got the 2 hockey players who are still in their prime.
Yep.
It's been a sad week, period. I mean, did you want to talk about what was going on in your life?
I brought up the dog.
Yeah.
The dog passing away. Yeah. And
Yeah, I mean,
found him Tuesday morning, just laying there, non-responsive, and I was like, he's not moving, and he was unfortunately gone. So, and he's being cremated, and we're gonna have like a special thing for him once we get his ashes back. So that's cool in its way. I was gonna bring up
Bob Barker said, spay and neuter your pets.
Yeah. Johnny Hockey actually played for around here. We got the United States Hockey League. He actually played for the Dubuque Fighting Saints.
Did he?
Yes.
So
when he was
there wasn't. Is that considered a minor league of like a team, or is that like an independent like the Sioux City Explorers?
It's kind of like so if you don't get drafted to the NHL right out of high school and don't want to go to college, this is your opportunity in the United States.
So it's not like the AHL or the EHL.
This is your opportunity to get a scholarship to go to college or get drafted. So this is like
an independent semi-pro.
Yep. So he was able to.
So they're not affiliated with the NHL in any way. It's just
but you can draft these players to go to the NHL.
Right. And they can go to the minor leagues, which would be, I think, the Musketeers are considered a minor league of the Wild or somebody, right?
They're still part of that United States Hockey League.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to mention anything on the hockey players?
And then anybody got any questions or comments? Go ahead.
Pretty sad thing.
Yeah, if anyone wants to talk about the 16-year-old or any and maybe sports figures that we missed that died of anything, these are just unexpected. I mean, Johnny Hockey just died yesterday. 2 days ago. Yesterday they talked about it. I think he died Thursday, though. They came out, I think, Friday morning.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's just freshly on our minds.
Right.
With that being said.
Anything on there? Nobody? Okay. So we go shifting gears. Go ahead. You were.
Let's this is a little bit more of my forte. We're going to talk a little bit of WWE. We had the Bash in Berlin in Germany. So it was on at 1:00 noon central. It kind of went away. If you watch wrestling, it kind of went the way you expected. Cody Rhodes beat Kevin Owens. Gunther, Germany's own Gunther, beat Randy Orton. He's not going to drop the title in Germany after he just won the title. No. But we do have new women tag team champions, Jade Cargill, who was in AEW, and Bianca Belair. I think that was a good win because the people that had it weren't really big. These people were big, so you kind of give them at the pay-per-view. And then you had the Terror Twins now, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus Dominic and Liv Morgan.
Right.
And they won. So it's kind of like closing the Judgment Day chapter. Eventually, I think it's going to lead to a Survivor Series match, probably.
I think so.
If you don't get the Bloodline, you're going to get Judgment Day versus.
Well, you could have multiple matches.
Well, yeah, you can have multiple Survivor Series. But it leads into tomorrow's pay-per-view, which I'm excited about, as everyone knows, as Ethan Page will defend his NXT championship to Joe Hendry, who, by the way, special guest referee is Trick Williams.
You have a stiffy for that, dude.
I do. But Trick Williams lost the belt to Ethan Page.
Okay.
And Joe Hendry said, if I win, I'll give you a title shot. Well, then at the end, because of Ethan Page, the way he's acting, Ava goes, I figured out a way with your referee history. I got a special guest referee, and it's Trick Williams. So, I mean, clearly luck is not on Ethan Page's side. So my prediction is he's going to win because it's all Joe Hendry will give you a title shot if he wins. But this was before he knew he was the referee. And also he's the referee. It's like, okay, now he's going to screw Ethan Page so he can get a title shot.
Right.
I would love Joe Hendry to win because even Shawn Michaels says he believes.
Yeah.
In fact, what's funny is because this whole TNA WWE crossover, the Hardys got to use their theme song.
Yep.
And I sent you both the videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think when Joe Hendry came out, it goes, I believe in Joe Hendry. And he did it twice. And it goes, I believe in Matt Hardy. I believe in Jeff Hardy. And then the Hardys. And the Hardys came out with them with like a mashup of their songs. And they did the little turn and the clap and everything. It was great. And then speaking of WWE TNA, because of that, Nick Namath won his match. And at the end, JBL came to TNA. Cowboy hat, trench coat. It looks like, and he stared down Nick Namath. I think JBL's returning to the ring, and he didn't have blonde hair. He had like a blackish brown hair. But he had like a trench coat, a cowboy hat. He didn't have the like the JBL Longhorn, like the
More
money
like
New
the,
York guy. He was more like a Texan again.
Right.
I wonder if he's gonna wrestle in TNA because he has that itch.
Maybe I could see him
Maybe.
doing. I don't see this being a long term thing. It would be just to.
But it was pretty
wrestle.
cool to see
Yeah.
that though.
It's cool to see them come back and
Right.
do that.
All right.
So I mean, did you have any? I don't know if you've seen any updates on the WWE or anything like that. I mean, we're all just waiting for the next big pay-per-view, to be honest.
I saw highlights of the match, and I liked the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. I figured Cody Rhodes would win, so I mean, I liked it, and I kind of excited for the NXT one. I can't wait for that Ethan Page and Joe Hendry. Yeah,
I mean, like I said, I figure Ethan Page is gonna win. He's the NXT guy, but at this point, Joe Hendry's on his way to get a WWE contract because that dude captivated everybody around the world. I mean, Jamal Williams from the Saints is going. I believe in Joe Hendry. I hope that's in everyone's algorithm. Like this dude's everywhere. ESPN's talking about him. Everyone's talking about Joe Hendry.
Right.
I have a question from the crowd.
Okay.
Zachary Anderton says, "What are your guys' thoughts on Mike Tyson and Jake Paul?"
It's never gonna happen. that's my thoughts right now. Since look, we should be talking about the real matchup of the century, okay? And that is Chestnut versus Kobayashi on Monday on Netflix Live, okay? Because it's gonna prove that Nathan's is a fraud now. Whoever won that one's a fraud. That's my hot take.
What?
Yeah, the Nathan's hot dog. You remember? They didn't let Chestnut in because he's sponsored by Veggie.
Oh,
hot dogs.
Joe Chestnut.
So Joey Chestnut versus Kobayashi, Netflix Live on Monday at 2:00 Central, 3 Eastern. And this is not a plug. They did not pay me to say that. But it's the showdown of the century, right? Everyone talks about those two. They've had the matchups. Just Chestnut always wins lately. But since he wasn't in, I think the Nathan's guy finished like 52 hot dogs. Chestnut hasn't gone under 60.
No, not
So if they both finish in the 60s, it just proves
Yeah.
Nathan's was a fraud. And I guarantee you he's coming back.
right.
But I don't think Mike Tyson and Jake Paul's going to happen because I think this was the time for it to happen with Tyson getting sick. I don't know if he's going to be able to come back. I would still love to see it because I still
Right.
think Mike Tyson could hold his own against Jake Paul at this age.
Mike
Yeah.
Tyson's gonna whoop him.
Yeah, because he unless you pay him like $200 billion, I don't think he's going to throw a fight.
no,
right?
no, never has.
And if you can't win, he'll bite your ear, okay?
Right. He bit the dude's ear off. I think.
Evander Holyfield.
Yes.
So why are you getting so excited about two dudes chopping down on meat on Monday?
It's America's
You're like,
pastime.
oh my God, this is a great match.
You're excited about 2
I'm
dudes
ex-
chopping down a glizzy.
Where's the mustard
What
and
the heck,
ketchup and the
man?
buns, man?
First of all, no mustard ketchup. Second of all, it's usually the 4th of July tradition, right?
You're
It's
excited
Labor
about
Day.
2 dudes
Why
gobbling
is
down
this called
glizzies,
Labor
man.
Day?
It's on Labor Day because it's another holiday they can use because they got to put justice in there just because he was sponsored by a veggie hot dog or a
No,
pasta
I'm with
hot
you.
dog.
I'm ticked off. We'll just use that
Netflix
word.
just saw the money like, hey, Kobayashi and Chestnut.
No, I'm
no
glad-
one got to see Chestnut. I probably will not watch it because I'll forget about it. I'm not gonna lie. I say I'm gonna watch it every year, and I tune in. I'm like, okay, cool.
I'm always
I
like,
watched them eat 5 hot dogs, and now I'm disgusted and don't want to eat the rest of the day.
but that I can't watch that kind of stuff. I'll look at what happened afterwards.
I
I'm
know
like,
I've seen
oh, he
Mr.
really
Google
chewed that.
watch.
How do you?
Mr. Google watches this guy eat like 10 pounds of brisket or something, and this dude's skinny as heck, but it's still gross.
But how do you commentate that? Oh my God, he could really go down on that wiener. What do you?
I really
Yeah,
think
you're
that-
fascinated
I
about
think
2
the
dudes
comments-
going down on glizzies, man.
I
What
think
the
the
heck?
commentator just more like, okay, he's at 5, he's at 10. Oh, he's
5,
he's
10, whatever.
he's moving really fast.
Right.
There's
Got a question from the audience.
Okay,
Christopher Bruni asked, "What do you think of McGregor backing out of the Chandler fight?"
ooh, I didn't
That's
hear
my
about that.
I
coworker.
said I was looking forward to it.
That's
McGregor-
unfortunate. Does anyone know why he backed out?
no.
So was there anything wrong with the toe?
I didn't hear. I heard he backed out,
Yeah.
but I didn't like.
We
look
got
into
Jake
it.
on the case. He's gonna look it up. So I actually do think that the Jake Paul fight and Mike Tyson fight will happen. I just don't think it'll happen right now. It needs to happen because we're talking about it. We want it to happen. It was close to happening.
Didn't
and
they
then it didn't happen.
get 2 other boxers to fight at AT&T Stadium or something because they sold all the
You could have had
tickets?
Hulk Hogan Ric Flair. Now we got freaking Jimmy Wang Yang and R-Truth.
First of all, I would love to see that as long as it's the redneck Jimmy Wang Yang and of course current R-Truth.
Jimmy Wang Yang from 2009 WWE. Look him up.
It'd be the best comedy show you ever seen.
Right.
Christopher Bruni
It was a broken toe.
I mean, I understand it's gonna hurt and everything. So it's unfortunate, but that match will happen then.
Yeah, that one will.
He stated that he's definitely plans on fighting again, guaranteeing that Chandler remains his opponent, but he also guarantees that
Well,
matter
if Chandler
or not.
Chandler's fighting somebody else, you're gonna have to wait until he's healthy.
What,
If they're not, you could wait till the toe's healthy and reschedule in like 2 months.
I do have a question.
NFL linemen play with broken toes all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Turf
exactly.
toes. Come on
Turf
now.
toes. Do you think Mayweather will ever fight again?
Yes.
You think?
I think
I'm
I
not
think
gonna
he's
pick an
gonna come
opponent,
back
I'm
for
just
the
saying,
money for Jake Paul.
Okay.
Because
Yep.
Jake Paul is a good money draw.
Yep.
Right? We didn't think he was gonna fight, and what happened? He stepped in the ring with Conor McGregor for money.
Maybe he'll fight Joey Chestnut. I'll watch that.
As long as the hot
would
dog
too.
eating contest, Joey Chestnut will
let's
agree.
do
If it's not, he's not gonna
Mayweather
agree.
versus Jake Paul. I'm money on Mayweather.
So do we?
If it's Mayweather versus Joey Chestnut, who's your money on? Not a hot dog eating contest.
no.
My money's on Mayweather.
What about sauerkraut on that hot dog? I'll be in there. I'll show Joey Chestnut.
You like sauerkraut?
On hot dogs? Yeah.
I never tried sauerkraut.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's just pickled cabbage.
It pretty much.
No,
is
I
what it
never
is.
tried it.
So big board.
Yeah, we'll go with the big board since we were talking about wrestling. We're gonna go over our favorite pay-per-view wrestling names, not
I got
the
my
event,
notebook down here. I forgot what I put on.
not the event itself, but the
No.
names.
So
Great
So,
balls of
like-
fire.
Great balls of that's a good one. But I like there's a few I like, right? One
Okay.
was WCW. We talked about this. I loved Halloween Havoc.
yep.
Halloween time, and that's when it started becoming Macho Man's pay-per-view and Snap Into a Slim Jim and everything. And plus it came up with one of the, I think it was 1997's Rey Mysterio's outfit, the purple.
Not even alive.
No, shush. But Rey Mysterio had like one of the best outfits I think of ever was that purple one.
Yeah.
It was great. Him
Oh,
and
that
Eddie,
all purple outfit.
Yeah.
him and Eddie Guerrero, and like Eddie was like ripping the mask. Great match, right? Bad Blood was always a great name. I love that name.
Right.
I liked Taboo Tuesday
That was one of the ones.
or
that-
Cyber Sunday
that was
became
one of the
known as.
ones.
First, it was Taboo Tuesday. It was a pay-per-view on Tuesday.
I
And it
put
was
on
the
Tuesday.
fans got to vote for like matches, stipulations. But then they changed it to Cyber Sunday because we're
Oh,
not
sorry.
having people order on a Tuesday night because most of our audience has to go to bed for high school.
Sure.
Me.
Right?
And funny fact about the Cyber Sunday, I think it was Shelton Benjamin was fighting somebody, and they called him out for the match, and the guy did not know it was a title change. It was Chris Jericho and Shelton Benjamin, and Shelton Benjamin got called out to the match with Chris Jericho, and of course, Cyber Sunday was actually real. Whoever went out there sent you out there, and you did that match on the fly. A lot of them were good, a lot of them were bad. Anyway, so Shelton Benjamin didn't know he was winning the title until the ref counted to 3. Jericho knew, but the ref didn't. Benjamin didn't know.
Right.
And that was
because-
like a real moment. I was like, dude, that's awesome.
But yeah, so those were my top. And I also liked when they had In Your House, right?
Yeah.
But it was like In Your House DX or In Your House this. But the title In Your House was pretty good. And it had like the set like a living room sometimes or this, and they always the rock bottom. It was just different pay-per-views. And then of course my favorite of gimmicky titles, right? King of the Ring.
Yeah.
I always loved you had Angle versus Shane McMahon where he threw him through the plexiglass thing, slammed and he like broke his tailbone.
Yeah.
Like
Ow.
great. See, it's names, but then when I hear the names, you think of the matches.
Yeah.
Like obviously you say WrestleMania, you got the TLCs, you got this,
Royal
you got Hulk
Rumbles.
Hogan, the Royal Rumbles, the Survivor
Yep.
Series. But I'm talking like Armageddon, right? You got the
Armageddon.
six-man Hell in a Cell match with Rikishi, Stone
Survivor
Cold,
Series.
and probably one of the best Rock promos where he just imitated everybody. He's like, "Dong, I'm raising from the dead again," and
Elimination
I'm gonna drink some
Chamber.
beers.
Elimination Chamber was good. WrestleMania obviously is like WrestleMania, but I also like TNA's version is Bound for Glory. Like that's like your destiny for like a wrestling.
I think I loved Bound for Glory, but I liked when they started doing Bound for Glory like this thing, where at Bound for Glory, like right before leading up to it, if you were the TNA champion, you could cash in for option C, which means you cash in your TNA X Division title for a World Heavyweight Champion. When
Yep.
they started that was great.
Yeah, I thought that was a great idea too.
But yeah, Bound for Glory was a great one. Another good one is is it
Royal
AEW
Rumble,
that
I
does
think,
blood
is-
and guts or something. I think they call AEW blood and guts.
Yes,
I think
I
it was
do
one
believe.
time. But the best was probably ECW, right? December to remember,
Yep.
December to dismember, and stuff
Dismember.
like that. Like they had the greatest like play on words.
So this is a newest one about AEW Forbidden Door, where they kind of do like,
Like New Japan. And
you got
stuff like that.
crossover with like New Japan and them.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was good. I think they did. I think that's when they've done deals with WWE before, where they brought like Billy Gunn or Christian in one time and stuff. TNA's done that too.
Right. My thing is a when we were talking about Stairway to
That's gonna be later on. Mr. Guru will just throw something out. We thought we was writing a pay-per-view, but he's gonna write one of our later
well,
segments.
I mean, Stairway to Evan is kind of a pay-per-view name.
Stairway to Heaven, right? Wasn't
Yeah. But one of the ones that I think really missed the ball was Breaking Point. Like you had submission matches, but they just didn't really live up to the hype of the pay-per-view name.
You know, they I think bragging rights.
that was one that kind of missed a little bit.
That was
too.
a couple of years. That's when they were doing the Raw versus SmackDown video games, and they kind of went, okay, let's have a Raw versus SmackDown straight up pay-per-view. Whoever won had brand supremacy.
But that
and-
took away from Survivor Series.
It did, but it was more like brand supremacy, right? Survivor
Right.
Series was doing the Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series. So now what they were doing is, hey, let's leave the Survivor Series matches for like few lines in this, and let's do bragging rights where it's like the Raw champion versus the SmackDown champion, and you got points, and whoever had the most points won like this cup,
Yep.
and you were the best brand.
It, by the way,
That failed miserably, but yet it had the premise to be like one of the greater pay-per-views.
and one of the better matches of that I thought was Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, and
Surprisingly, that was a great match.
yes, it was.
Oh, there was a time, and I read
Nakamura
this,
and Rollins too was good too.
I read this. I heard this on Facebook or something. We're thinking about talking about this real quick, where Shawn Michaels was out. I think Chris Jericho was talking about it. Shawn Michaels was out there with or Chris Jericho. They're having a match, and they went over like 8 minutes or something. And they went in the back, and Johnny Ace, John Laurinaitis was like, "You went over like 5 minutes or something." Shawn Michaels, "Hey, when you have a 5-star match, you can tell me how long I can wrestle."
Yeah,
Like he went back at it, like I can tell you when I'm done wrestling. We went on a little bit longer, but we're having a great match. When you have a great match, you come talk to me.
right. And guess
Right.
what? You're feeling the audience, like you're just feeling out the audience, and they're saying this is awesome. You don't want to end it at that point. You want to give them
Right.
more. You're going to give them a couple more finishers. You're going to do a couple more moves, submissions, just to keep the crowd going. And if you go, guess what Vince is going to do? I'm
Yeah.
going to give you more matches. Guess what? We can always fill that time in.
And what do you
somewhere
think
else.
now? The new power, Triple H and stuff.
He's gonna let that go, too.
He's gonna let that go.
Yeah, he's not going to be like,
Triple
oh, we got to
H-
end it. You know,
In fact, Triple H is the reason why we have Joe Hendry and Ethan Page. Triple H is the reason why you can have the Hardys come back and not be signed. This is the reason
Yeah.
why they're working with TNA, because you don't have to think of the past as your competition. Let's
No.
work together. AEW's competition, but with the right deal, like Ted DiBiase says, everyone has a price. You can still see AEW stars in TNA or WWE eventually.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
right now they look at each other as enemies. But hey, TNA's not an enemy. We
No.
can make them a companion and go
Well, you had
against the competition.
You had this perception from Vince McMahon that he did not want you talking about other wrestling promotions because you might go over there and watch it. I don't think that should be the case. You have these promotions, and guess what? Why don't you build each other up?
Well, I mean, if you think about
WCW
promotions,
You go ahead.
if you think about promotions and they don't want you to watch it, WCW screwed themselves.
Yeah.
And do you know I'm talking about the end of the Monday Night Wars? What happened, right?
With Bischoff and all them.
Yeah. Do you know the story of that?
Vaguely.
So the story is, and this is a great story. WCW was head to head 52 weeks or longer, number one straight,
right.
53,
I know about
54
that.
weeks. And then Bischoff went, no one wants to watch Raw because Raw was recorded. Some guy named Mankind is going to beat The Rock for the championship in the main event. When it became main event time, they switched from WCW and watched Mankind win and never turned back the TVs. The ratings switched like that. He screwed himself because he gave up the ratings. And then he lost power. They gave it to Vince Russo. And then you had David Arquette winning the championship and this. And it was just horrible.
Christopher Bruning asked, do they still do the draft? Always on the edge of your seat.
For the WWE, they
Kind of.
stopped. But I remember the best moment of the draft was when I was in high school, and it was the first pick was John Cena, right?
No, he
went
wasn't.
from-
I couldn't see him. Sorry.
but Chris Jericho was like, "Come on out, first draft pick, right?" And it was John Cena. So they had the tournament to have the SmackDown champion, and then JBL won. He's like, "But we're not gonna need it because our new draft pick is Batista, player. So you will face Batista for the championship." It was the greatest. Like, oh shoot, like you did this whole tournament for nothing, and you think you won the championship, but now you gotta play face Batista.
Yeah.
Some of those drafts were great. Some
Yep.
of them have been horrible, god awful.
Some of them were good. Like the ones that they had with Daniel Bryan as
The
GM,
beginning
and
was great.
The beginning was great. They kind of brought it back a little bit. They kind of made it like an NFL draft with first pick of Monday Night Raw. Raw selects.
Whenever
Seth
they do,
freaking
whenever
Rollins.
they do the
I don't
draft,
care.
like whenever they
right?
they do this thing where they separate and then come back, separate and come back. So whenever they come back, that's when they do like the first pick is Becky Lynch, the first pick is Seth Rollins, the last pick is Titus O'Neil, and then he gets mad because he's the last pick or whatever.
Be happy you got drafted. And then how about the storyline of free agent John Cena will really show up next? Well, you can't see him, so how do you know he's there?
Exactly. You know who a free agent is? Someone who doesn't have a contract and just goes to wrestling promotions. That's a free agent.
CM Punk? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Did I cross the door?
CM Punk. Hey, he had a match against Drew McIntyre, strap match.
Did he win?
He won and got his bracelet back,
Yes.
everybody. Okay, he got the bracelet with his dog Larry and AJ's name on it, his
first
wife.
win since being back in WWE. It is. It's his first pay-per-view win.
Drew McIntyre is now 0-2 in strap matches, and CM Punk is 2-0.
Don't even know where to go with that. Sorry.
That's just a stat they threw out there that they each only had one match, and Punk won his and Drew lost.
Now,
so I figured, okay, well, Punk's gonna win.
Quick take. Can we finally see him and Rollins now? Seriously. I'm ready for that.
I think you're gonna see it at WrestleMania because I think they're gonna end the Drew thing soon. They're gonna do Drew Seth again for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Punk's gonna interfere, or Seth is gonna interfere the next Punk Drew, because you have to have that. They're 1-1, right? So they're gonna have to have the one more, the rubber match. Seth is gonna interfere, and then you're gonna have the feud to go to WrestleMania.
And we don't expect these two to win the Royal Rumble.
No.
I think that early Royal Rumble prediction.
Early Royal Rumble pick. We all know who I'm picking. I believe in him.
You got a stiffy for him.
I say John Cena because of the retirement.
I do see Cena because Cena
Yep.
is going through it, and that will be his last WrestleMania as a competitor. But I'm gonna throw a name out there that might have a little itch lately to come back. He mentioned it on a talk show.
Brock?
No, he can only stay backstage for so long before he gets the itch. The Undertaker having an itch again.
Oh man. I don't want a 10-minute walk down for a 5-minute match.
I think he'll be a surprise entry. I don't think he's gonna win the Rumble because he's not gonna go.
Right.
Oh, the other day I was watching with my girlfriend. We were watching WrestleMania. I was like, "Let me show you the WrestleMania I was at," and then it brought back PTSD when Elias came out. I got so mad again because of Cena. I got happy. It's like, "Ooh, Dr. Thugonomics." I was like, "Boo, no Undertaker." All right, so
college football, baby.
So everyone, rejoice! Football season is back full swing.
Yep.
College football is back. We had great competition. Game day energy was amazing. I know it was amazing last week in Ireland, but this week you had full-fledged shirt off, Pat McAfee. It was great. It was
Lee Corso comes out of nowhere with the Irish shillelagh. I thought that was pretty cool too. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I think Notre Dame's gonna win that match. But that game, I say match. But yeah, college football's back. Yesterday, my team, Wisconsin, won. Struggled a little bit, but they did pull out the win against Western Michigan. I mean, a lot of teams have been struggling. I mean, we talked about it last week. Florida State struggling really bad as they lost. Georgia was struggling with Clemson, and they came forward and took it.
Right. Georgia Tech is actually up 7-0
To
right
who?
now to Georgia Southern, I think, or Georgia State.
Georgia State, because Georgia Southern played somebody else earlier and was getting smoked.
My Michigan's beat Brazil State 7-3. So, anything? in the early-
Breaking news.
Okay.
49ers wide receiver Ricky Paracel, probably practice squad, was shot during robbery attempt. Is expected to be okay. Suspect was arrested. So I'm guessing he was getting robbed. If you're gonna rob someone, why not like Ayuk, who just got paid? But we'll get to that later. You're going after a
some
nobody.
of these scores are like the first week of college football. There's always like these big schools going against like cupcake teams, like D2 or like FBS.
Well,
schools.
you have Pitt versus West Virginia, right? Or Penn State? Was it Penn State or Pitt?
Penn State played West Virginia.
And who won that game? Penn State?
yeah.
Like
Penn State
50 to
by
0?
20 by 20.
Give him a little bit of credit. It was 32-14.
I know Pat McAfee was cheering for West Virginia.
He always does. That's where he went to school.
Jeff Taft says OU 50-3 win.
To
50 to 3. Who did they play? They played
is he talking about Ohio
Temple.
State or
Temple.
Oklahoma?
Temple yesterday.
Oh, Temple.
Yeah.
Is he,
Oh,
is he an Oklahoma
speaking of-
fan?
No, well, yeah, because George or
Your
my niece.
Niece is there. Okay.
My niece is there. So let's go over some of these games. Arkansas beat Arkansas Pine Bluff like 7-0. But you know what? Arkansas Pine Bluff was playing Cody Rhodes' theme song. I guess they didn't channel Cody Rhodes.
Well, it wasn't a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a nightmare for them.
Yeah.
It wasn't an American nightmare. It was an Arkansas nightmare. But yeah, they play. I saw the band play them.
Max Johnson gets hurt against Minnesota, out for the year for North Carolina.
Oh yeah, broke his leg.
Yeah.
And Minnesota misses a game-winning field goal, so North
Right, so
Carolina
that-
wins.
Yeah,
but
and
that's gonna hurt
And the
them. in
suckiest thing
ACC.
about it is that Max Johnson's was his last year eligibility, and he snapped his leg.
Well, he might get another one because you can do an injury redshirt.
yeah, you
That's
can.
He
what
didn't play
that's what I
enough
mentioned.
games. He did not play enough games for this year.
Yeah, because Tua's brother tried to do that last year, but he already had played past the deadline.
Yeah, so I think you got like 4 games you can play.
4, yeah.
Game time. You can be played 4 seconds each game, and you won't get play time.
Aaron Rodgers? Oh, sorry.
Miami beat.
He had 5 seconds.
Miami beat Florida pretty good.
Yeah, Miami.
Georgia did beat Clemson.
Yes,
What's-
let's
was-
talk about that game.
What's there to talk about?
Well, at halftime it was 6-3, and then Georgia's like, "Okay, you know what? We had a late night at the bar. You know who's that come? Nothing finer in the land than a
Nothing
drunk.
more obnoxious than a Georgia fan.
Nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia player, I guess. Well, they got sobered up
Give
and
me
they,
Alabama.
they
Sorry.
won, right? So they destroyed Iowa,
Iowa did-
struggling hard to get early, and then end up winning 40-0.
Well, we mentioned this earlier we mentioned this before that some of these teams may take a little bit to get going in their first games, but 40-0. I mean, that took.
Well, when you
Iowa-
saw the
that
game,
took Iowa 2-3 games to get 40 points.
yeah. Well, when you
Last
saw the
year.
game, it was like 6-0 against Illinois State. And you're like, okay, different offensive coordinator, same results, right?
Right.
Defense.
Right.
And then here comes Cade McNamara throwing three touchdowns. But the game I really want to talk about, right? North Dakota State and Colorado.
Yeah.
Do you think, not that Coach Prime's overrated, because what he's doing, I believe in 100%. He's teaching more about men and everything else besides,
Right, that's not.
besides like he's raising, hey, we're going to, like with that whole Colorado State game last year, where Travaris Hunter got hurt, and could have been, everyone's calling it a dirty play. And Coach Prime said he made a football play.
Yep.
He's a kid who made a football play. Yeah, it was a bad hit, whatever you call it, dirty, you could call it this, but he made a football play. Let's not hate on him.
Right.
That to me, that's when he earned my respect as a coach, because he's not castrating the player like some of
No.
the coaches would. He condoned the player going, yeah. Anyway, he condoned the player going, hey, you know what? He's a kid. He made a mistake, but yeah, he made a football. It's not dirty.
So
We'll
Jeff
talk.
Taft says Kansas Jayhawks win 48-3. Christopher Bruning says Roy at work will be so happy.
Because Roy I work with him. Roy's a Georgia fan.
Georgia fan. So nothing finer in the land than a drunk,
Drunk
obnoxious Georgia fan. Does he get drunk during the games, do you
I
think?
don't know. He's got that country accent.
Is he nice?
Yes. Yeah.
Is he from Georgia?
Yes.
I want to hear his accent. I love Southern accents. These people,
Do you want me to get him on the show?
No.
Okay.
See,
Then
the
why
thing
even bring
is
it up?
with like,
it's so go ahead.
the thing with North Dakota State, they always play every school tough every year. They're like, everyone talks about them jumping from the FBS level to the Division
Well,
One
you
level.
did hear what Matt Rule said, right? We don't want anyone with Dakota in their name. If there's a West Dakota, we don't want it. East Dakota, we don't want it. We don't want North Dakota. We don't want North Dakota
Speaking
State.
of
South
Matt-
Dakota, South Dakota State.
Speaking of Matt Rule, he hosts Colorado next week. Colorado, Nebraska.
Rematch from last year, I think. See, Colorado wins like these non-divisional opponents, but then they start playing tougher teams.
Yeah.
That was like what I'm getting into. Do you think
Right.
it's gonna be another year where they're gonna go maybe 5, maybe 6 wins? Or do you think they Do you think they get to a bowl game? Because I think they missed the bowl game last year.
Yeah, they went 4-8. I think they do. I think they can get 6-7 wins. I'm not putting them in the.
Do you think
Big 12 championship
Shador Sanders? Do you think he's going to get drafted like everyone's predicting? Or
Oh yeah, he's going to be the next Cowboys quarterback.
Trey Lance maybe.
Deion's going to be the next head coach of the Cowboys. What are you guys talking about?
But do you think he's overrated? Because I remember
No.
what preseason draft he was first round. Do you think he's still first round?
If he doesn't get hurt and he
still threw an interception. Yeah, he had to throw 3, but he
Quarterbacks
also had to
are
throw
allowed to
4.
throw
He has to throw.
interceptions.
He still has to throw 400 yards.
Jeff Taft asked Morons who wins the national championship.
Ole Miss.
He's going Ole Miss. Look, I'm gonna
I'm
go with
going
Pat
Ole Miss,
McAfee. I'm gonna go with Nick Saban. I'm gonna go with everyone. Just like NFL, until you prove it, Georgia.
What'd you say, Jake?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. I think Oregon can do it too. I don't know. They were struggling. I guess
There's only up 14-0
Idaho.
against Idaho.
it was 7-0 going into the first.
They're up.
At the end of the
There's
first.
14-0. They're struggling against Idaho.
Just don't count out Texas, Oklahoma.
Texas,
Alabama.
I think, is a sleeper.
Miami could be a sleeper too. We talked about that.
Yeah,
I
they
think
just
Texas-
flat out destroyed Florida.
Sorry, Jay. Florida
So
Gators
hook 'em
lost.
horns because I think Texas is definitely a sleeper only
We're going
because
down next week. Sorry.
only
play
because
Michigan.
it's Texas. People give them that cowboy, right? They
Yeah.
choke when it matters, blah blah blah. But they played well today. They played really well today.
They would have been in the national championship had Penix not been Michael Penix last year and against Washington.
I mean,
They both those teams came to play, and it was a
And-
great game.
and Texas is in the SEC. If they could go undefeated in that, they're not going to. But if they could go undefeated in the SEC, how do you not pick them? Because I don't think they play Georgia until the SEC championship.
No,
game.
I don't think they do either. I don't think they play Bama. I mean, they
do play Bama.
They do. Well, they
They
play
do play
A&M
Bama.
because they want that rivalry back with A&M.
But
which
they
is
do
great.
play Bama.
Okay.
If they
That's the
beat
thing.
Bama and they go undefeated to the SEC championship, they're going to go to the playoffs.
Do you think there's a potential of seeing 4 or 5 teams from the SEC in the playoff?
No,
You think it might be 3?
I think
I don't
you're
think you
going to
put
get.
less than 3 in there.
This is what I'm going to think. If you have an undefeated Georgia and an undefeated Texas for
I mean,
the
it's
SEC
gonna be Ole Miss.
championship,
Ole Miss, baby, gonna win it all, man. Why are we talking about?
but I'm going to say, if say you get Georgia and Texas undefeated in the SEC championship game, they're both going to make it. They're
Yeah.
both going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, you can't take them out. Yeah.
Right. It don't matter. It's just who's going to be higher ranked.
Right.
Then you're going to get probably, I would say, Ole Miss, right? Maybe a 1-loss Ole Miss because I think they do play Georgia.
Yeah, they'll play Georgia.
So
this year.
in that scenario, they would lose. Just like if
Okay.
you get an undefeated Ole Miss in Texas, right? Or
Right.
undefeated Ole Miss in Alabama, they're both going to get in.
Right.
And I think you're going to get an Ohio State and Michigan, let's just say, right? 2
Yeah.
Big Ten teams, and then you got what 7 of the rest.
Yeah.
You might get 3 Oregon, right? So everyone's talking. So you're going to get 6. You're going to get 3 from the Big Ten and 3 from the SEC, guaranteed.
Well, you're gonna.
You might get 4 because if you got a 1-loss Alabama, a 1-loss Ole Miss, and Alabama was destroying everyone but lost to Texas, or same thing with Texas and Georgia. If they both got 1 loss and it's Ole Miss and Alabama undefeated in the SEC championship game, you're gonna see 4 teams.
Right. Watch out for Vandy.
Yeah, watch out for Vandy.
They beat Virginia Tech. Who
They
everybody
did,
thought was
but when
a
they get into
sleeper.
conference play, they can't beat nobody.
No, they can't.
But yeah, so college football's back. You see a lot of blowouts. Louisville won like 63-0. I don't look forward to week 1 as a setting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just prove SEC is good.
Talking about that game, you did like Clemson's defense first half.
I did.
I did
First
too.
half, they played well. They played honestly well. They stopped Georgia's offense. I thought, oh man, their running backs really decided this team. And then all of a sudden, I got done talking to you, and it was at that time it was 13-6 at the time or something like that. And then it was 2 blocks down the road. I turned on the TV. It's like 30-6. I went, what happened? I'm watching Georgia's running back run over him. I'm like, dude, who is this guy? He's the third string.
Who?
Another sitting game I watched when I was doing Mike's Memorial Ride at one of the bars we stopped at was Boise State and Georgia Southern.
That's who Georgia Southern was playing.
Okay.
Boise
Did
State.
Boise State win or Georgia Southern?
Oh.
That was a close game.
Yeah, it was. You have a question?
Okay. Okay. All right.
So the quiz.
While he's looking that up real quick.
Jeff Taft says OU wins, and then he said, "Who wins fantasy football, boys?"
Who
Me.
was me?
Me.
No, me.
We're gonna start dissecting teams here starting this week with
Yep.
Stairway to Evans. So we'll get back to you on who we think.
Oh, that's
All right,
Jess.
so Boise State won
I think, or no,
56
Jackie.
45.
Is that Jess
yeah.
or
So
Jackie?
56-45. Boise State was projected to be one of those teams in the playoffs. So-
let me look at the their running back, Ashton Gianti,
Sure.
Ashton. Okay, go with it.
Jesse.
Just okay.
okay, had 20 carries, 267 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
For
Boise State.
And they got you said 56 points.
and
Yeah.
they won't win the Heisman because he plays for Boise State, right?
Right, but
Probably.
they were one of the projected non-power teams to get into the
Yeah.
one of the 2 or 3 that
Well, that was one of the teams that they picked. I think Nick
And
Saban picked.
By
them
the
to
way,
go
Yeah,
his
and I-
backup
there.
had 110 yards.
is back up at 110, so they pulled them. I think Boise State could get in the playoffs, but they need defense. They played Georgia Southern, and they lost by 5, or they
Well,
won by 5.
one of the
or
plays I
7.
watched, he had
First game of the season.
I know. I'm just saying. they need
40
defense.
plus yard touchdown. He got hurt at the end of it, so I think they put his backup in so they could save him.
Okay.
Yeah, question.
Zachary
Anderson.
Anderson, sorry, says, "What is the punishment for the loser of the fantasy football team?"
So we are going to come up. If anyone there wants to comment, we'll write these comments down. We'll have our Mr. Google write these down. But we're going to create a wheel of probably 5, 6, 7 punishments. And the loser of us 3, whoever. So if we're finished first, second, and third place would have to spin the wheel. Unfortunate, because you finished 3rd.
Hey, by the way, how much is that cutting board by Carl?
That one?
Yeah.
$20 for this cutting board. We're going to get that here shortly. So
Don't get ahead of us.
So
I got
so
a
the
text.
we'll finish the wheel. So one of the things I promoted was you drink dirty rag water from a table at a restaurant.
Ugh.
I mean, we might not do that because you might
what?
end up
Drink
in the,
dirty rag water?
yeah. So a restaurant, you know how they write down the rag? Well, they're gonna put that in a cup and you just take a swig. Not drink the whole cup, like a shot, maybe an ounce.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, one of the punishments one of us has to wear.
We should get
dress.
a pillory.
No, one of us has to wear a dress.
Yeah,
on
one of
the
the punishments on the wheel is wear a dress on there. I think we should have a pillory and you'd be on the pillory for like an hour in public.
Okay.
Oh,
You got the head and the arms in there. Yeah.
oh yeah, that.
They did that on the Bobby Bones show. One of the guys can't do it because his shoulders don't go up a certain way or whatever. Lunchbox is great. It actually hurts him.
Okay.
What's up?
Amanda asks, "Who's Mister?" I think she's to finish that statement. Jeff Taft says, Jake shaves his head.
Okay.
Shave my head.
Zach shaves his head or
No,
Jake?
your dad, Jeffrey said to Zachary, Jake shaves his head.
I mean, we could do shaved head, but I already shaved my head. So if I lose and I land
Yeah,
on that,
it's not anything I
Maybe-
Zachary says loser has to wear a dress for 24 hours. Bailey says if you're gonna wear a dress, you need makeup too.
Oh, God.
okay. Hey, look. The fans are speaking. I agree with
I
Bailey.
don't want to shave my.
And you gotta shave your legs.
I don't have to shave my legs. I got no hair on my legs.
Well, we'll draw some on there for you to shave.
They won't. That's the
I don't
easy.
want to shave my legs.
Amanda says shave your heads.
Well, we got 2 balders right here.
Yeah.
Baldy,
You
baldy.
have some hair though, Carl.
So yeah,
He's
college
got the
football's back. We're all
Age
excited,
40
right?
teacher hair look.
That's pretty. Yeah.
He's got
So
the
so asking
professor
about
look.
this. So anyone got any other thing about college football though?
Besides the picks, no. I mean,
No,
we
I
got
mean-
picks.
Picks
we
are
gotta do
coming
later.
up later.
Wisconsin played pretty good.
At the end, they
At
did
the
get an
end.
interception to kind of like finally seal the game. I was at the edge of my seat. I was at a place where you probably shouldn't be on your phone watching college football, but I was.
See, my other,
Um,
the second team I follow is
that's all I'm gonna say. It was not a place that you should be watching college
besides Wisconsin. My other favorite team is Boise State, so that's why I follow them. That was
Right.
because you like the blue field
yeah, blue field.
and the same color as the ponies. I mean the Broncos,
Duh.
the donkeys, whoever the one person said.
Zach said
Same
the
colors
Denver
and
Donkeys.
same mascot. They're both horses.
The Denver Donkeys.
It's the Boise State Broncos.
Yeah, Boise State Broncos.
You know what's funny? Like these teams
Well,
about
they
the
have better
mascot,
uniforms
but
than
you
my
never
team.
really talk about Boise State's mascot.
No.
It's Boise
It's
State.
just Boise State. Right. Okay. Yeah. Broncos.
Anything about College football you wanna touch up?
Like I said, just the picks. I mean, we pretty much touched it
Does
up.
anyone know who's winning the Notre Dame game, by the way?
Last one I checked was 6-6.
6-6 still? Okay, that's a good game. How's Michigan doing? You said they're winning?
They were up 7-3 last I looked.
Yeah,
We're
but
just-
it's
we're
still
looking up the
6-6.
scores
Notre
real quick.
Dame.
Yep, 6-6 with 58 seconds left. That's a good game. Okay, so about this cutting board is $20, and we are sponsored by B&L Creative Designs. They do have an Etsy page now. So go to Etsy.com and go to BL Creative Design Shop. That is their Etsy page, or you can go to Facebook and friend them and message them on there as well. If you send them a code, the 3 Moron Pod, you will get these awesome bracelets for $15. $15 if you use the 3 Moron Pod code. That means you have to go on their Facebook, B&L Creative Designs, and use that. We also got these keychains that my daughter has made. I'll message them for the price. She didn't tell me the price. She just made these. They're beautiful keychains. I have one. $10 for the keychains. I have one, green and gold. I love it. This cutting board is $20.
Nice cutting board.
This cutting board is $40. They're great woodworking. These are handmade crafted. They also do planter boxes. They got lanterns with face. We will have the lanterns probably next week to show you what they have. But go to their website, go to their Etsy, again, on Etsy.com, BL Creative Design Shop.
Yep.
But yeah, go there for your woodworking jewelry needs. They do great handworking equipment, as you can see.
Yep. So we're going to move on to
Now we're going to go to NFL free agency. This is a topic I really, really enjoy because some stuff has happened.
Yep.
Right? Brandon Ayuk is staying a 49er, yet he got less money than CeeDee Lamb. How do we feel? I think CeeDee Lamb's what, 31 million a year, 32 million?
something like that.
And Brandon Ayuk's like 30 million.
Mm-hmm. So about $1.5 million, $2 million less.
Maybe it was a little bit more. I don't know the details off the top of my head.
Right.
Do you think Brandon Ayuk deserved more money than CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
'cause
I see it that way.
I think CeeDee Lamb is, and I know Mr. Google kind of agrees, he's an average receiver at best. He does not deserve that much money.
And Mr. Google's a Cowboy fan, so he's
Yes.
a realistic Cowboy fan. I believe.
But he still says it's all year, every year.
I mean, everyone does. I mean, I'm a Packer fan. It's hard here.
It's everybody's year until proven otherwise.
I believe that CeeDee Lamb is a great receiver, right? But you're only as good as your last game. And all those drops he had, he wasn't the reason. He was one of the reasons they lost, to be honest with you, because he was dropping good passes. And Ferguson stepped up. Ayuk is a great receiver. I think he's underrated because you got Deebo Samuel who can do so much. If Ayuk goes anywhere else, he's pretty much a number one, except maybe Minnesota with Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
With
And maybe Dallas is still be CeeDee Lamb will be number one, right? Because that's Dak Prescott's team. But that's because the chemistry between the two.
right.
But you go anywhere else, even in Houston with Stephon Diggs, he's number one over Stephon Diggs. I think because Stephon Diggs is losing.
Nico Collins
Is
would be the number one
is
guy there,
declined.
too.
So yeah, they both got signed.
I'm kind of glad that they're staying put because I think they are going to benefit more with their franchise. Than
Moving at this time with after preseason would be horrible.
Yes.
Because you're learning a new offense. Again, a receiver is like 1Y, X2, 3, Z4. So you're learning numbers, but you also got to learn pass blocking or run blocking. You got to learn, am I blocking and then going out for RPO?
Right.
Also, a little bit of news, right? And this kind of says you're talking about people dropping like Kadarius Toney, right?
Yeah.
He got cut by the
Chiefs.
Good riddance.
First of all, I saw a video on Facebook with a Dolphins fan crying because he got cut, and it shows all these amazing drops that he had. When I say amazing, in his chest, wide open drops,
Right.
or bobble the ball while he's open, and then the Patriots pick it up and
I
intercepted it.
saw a meme of Patrick Mahomes saying goodbye to Darius Toney.
So like he might get signed by a practice squad, right? But the Packers trade for Malik Willis,
Yep. 7th round pick.
7th round pick. Who's their backup now in Tennessee? Because you have
They had, was it Levis?
Will Levis and what?
Not Tannehill. Is it?
No, Tannehill's not there anymore.
I don't
He
know.
retired.
Tannehill?
Yeah.
Tennessee's always had trouble keeping
Quarterbacks, yeah.
But they got rid of Malik Willis, and he's the one from Liberty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe
So
it's starting
who do
quarter-
they got behind him?
I have no idea.
Levis?
They must believe in Joe Henry is going to appear or something because I don't know who they got.
John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena's there. We
John
just can't see him.
But
But that also shows you that the Packers had nobody and had to trade for somebody.
well, it was read that Clifford and the other guy just had horrible camps, and then the play just never.
And they're probably going to sign him to the practice squad if they haven't already. I
Oh,
would
yeah,
imagine
right,
Clifford
yeah.
would be signed to the practice
Just
squad.
like they've signed Brett Ripon in Minnesota, and they cut Jaron Hall, but Jaron Hall was right back on the practice squad.
Yeah, these teams cut and then sign you to the practice squad for less
Yeah,
money.
Donovan Peoples-Jones from the receiver for the Lions.
That one also shocked me.
They have Tennessee, the Titans have Will Levis as quarterback, and they also have Mason Rudolph.
Oh, Mason Rudolph went to Tennessee. Okay, so he's going to get held helmet there. Got it.
Yeah.
So I guess I can see they got rid of Malik Willis because you have I wouldn't say a veteran. He's 3-4 years in the league, but somebody who's been around, was a starter,
Yeah, you got
but not
veteran.
starter caliber. So I guess I could see that you would trade him for a 7th round pick.
Desmond Ritter got cut from Arizona.
Did
So-
he get re-signed to practice squad?
I
or
don't
is
think
he
he
out
did.
there? No.
I don't think he did.
But it's that time of year, right? That these people get dropped and everything. But the one that you said earlier, he kind of shocked me because he did pretty good, I thought, in Cleveland. I was very upset that the Packers didn't draft him. And that was Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Michigan,
Because they could have easily got him in the 2nd round late, I think mid or earlier. And I thought he was a decent pick from Michigan. That's shocking he got cut and put on the practice squad.
Yep.
They must really have. I know they got Amon St. Brown.
Monron St. Brown, Sam Laporte is their tight end.
Right.
Jamison Williams is their other wide receiver from Bama that they drafted. And he got suspended for that gambling thing last year. But this year, he came on when he did play. So
I guess they have a good depth chart. Any noticeable free agency that you saw?
Not a whole lot. I mean, Texans getting Stephon Diggs and that offense being pretty scary and I think it's going to be good. I think that's one team to look out for. I think that's one team that's going to win the South.
That's some people's sleeper pick to make it to the Super Bowl
they could very easily take
because of how
Kansas City.
CJ Stroud did. We got a question from the Peanut Gallery.
Amanda asks, any KC news? Travis Kelsey's her heartthrob.
KC News, got it. Kansas City News.
They play Thursday against Baltimore.
They do play Thursday against Baltimore, and that will be one of our picks. So let's lead into that.
We're going to start with the NFL.
And we'll
start.
We'll start with, because we did the NFL free agency. We'll start with that game.
Okay.
Amanda brought that in. So
Good job, Amanda. Thank you.
Kansas City versus Baltimore. Now, earlier we did Super Bowl picks in a earlier episode, a previous episode,
These two teams were there in the AFC for us.
and I said I think Kansas City will win because that's every year, whatever.
Yeah.
But Baltimore was my right there, right?
Baltimore,
I think Baltimore wins this game in Kansas City.
so. It's 2 years in a row that defending champs lose on their home turf.
The reason I'm picking Baltimore. So, by the way, before we start, actually, let's tell everyone this new segment.
Okay.
So we're doing picks, right? If you want to look at picks and everything like that, there's another good show out there. I'm going to promote the show. It's on NBC. It's on Peacock this year for season 2. I used to love this guy on Fox Sports Radio, still on there. Ben Maller is Benny versus the Penny. Basically, he picks who he thinks is going to win. They flip a coin. Heads is one team, tails the other team. So it's him versus a coin, like a literally flip of a coin, right?
Versus a penny, yes.
That's hilarious.
It's awesome.
It got picked up by NBC. Now it's on Peacock. Like that's how it was, just radio purposes, like YouTube, like us. Maybe we'll get picked up by NBC. Come on, Peacock. So
Okay. Yeah.
so that's a good show to watch. But
Right.
I'm picking Baltimore. So the picks is we're gonna do like 5-7 games a week. This week I think we did 5
We did 5 with college. So
because
NFL.
college already started. So we can't pick any games that have started.
Mm-mm.
So pretty much we got tomorrow's game and we got 5 games picked. So next week we could pick up more NFL because the NFL's back starting
Right.
Thursday. So we'll have 2 NFL games for the picks. We're going to keep a tally of everyone's score at the end of the NFL season. Well, maybe playoffs because, I mean, when you get to the Super Bowl, it's one game, right?
Yeah.
So if you're up by 20, I'm second place by 5. One game ain't gonna help unless we do 20 points for that game.
You do a double or nothing, or put risk on it, or
Right. So
Yeah.
so we're gonna keep points. One wins a point. If you pick a major underdog, which we'll do that off the air. If you pick a major underdog, you'll get 2 points. Right? Something
Yep.
like that. Or you just want to do 1 point per victory.
I think underdog needs to be at least double or like 5.
Like a 5 point for
Right.
underdog.
I believe
So here
that.
we go. If they're college football, if they're like a 20-point favorite and they lose, or-
Yeah.
now are we gonna do spread by picks or straight outright wins?
I would just do straight out, straight up.
Straight out. Okay, so that makes the picks a little bit different. So I think you do 1 point, and if it's a underdog, you do 2 points.
Okay.
So like if Kansas City loses to Miami, or not Miami, let's go with even worse, Oakland. That's
Las Vegas.
That's 2 points, right?
Las
If you
Vegas.
If you pick my bad, Las
They're
Vegas.
not Oakland anymore.
I keep forgetting. Okay, just like they're not the Redskins anymore.
Jeff Taft says 5 for an underdog. Amanda says, who you all favor? And then she says, pros. What are the pros and cons? I'm assuming.
So
Favoring what?
favoring what and pros and cons of what?
I'm assuming the Kansas City game y'all are discussing.
Okay, we'll get to the pros and the favors in this pick segment. So 5 points for underdog, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
And
fine.
1 point for if like Kansas City versus Baltimore. That's so
Yeah.
close. I think that should be 1 point no matter what.
Yeah, that's not going to be an upset.
But if
either
it's like an underdog, like Las Vegas versus Kansas City, in Las Vegas, when you pick Vegas, you get 5 points.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So
way. Now that we've established that,
now we
don't sue
established that.
us.
Let's go to the
Don't
picks.
sue us if you pick one of our picks and
Yes,
you don't get it right.
This is for. I was gonna say no longer for entertainment purposes, but it's for entertainment purposes. But if you do what you want with these picks, I think you can win some money. But don't win. Don't quote me because I've never won money.
Don't bet on us.
So I don't do sports gambling because you know what? And when I do, I pick against my team because my team either wins or I win money. So picks. Kansas City versus Baltimore will go first. Pros and cons of Kansas City. 1, defending champ. 2, they're at home. 3, they have Pat Mahomes. 4, they have Travis Kelce.
You're missing a key one.
Hollywood Brown,
Nope.
Andy Reid.
There you go.
I mean, Hollywood Brown's a new addition.
Hollywood Brown, I don't
he's
think he's gonna
decent,
play.
but I wouldn't say he's
He's gonna
like a
play.
You
game
think he's going to
changer.
play?
Because they don't got Kadarius Toney.
No, he would sit out because Kadarius 28 there.
Exactly. But no, I'm picking Baltimore in this one.
Okay.
Because they play Baltimore, they win, but they haven't had to play against Derrick Henry with that offense.
Right.
That is going to take some time to get used to for anybody to defend because now you have to just imagine they roll out with an option to pitch it back to him, right?
Yeah.
So now you get an option and you have Lamar to defend. So you go to tackle Lamar, you can't leave Henry one-on-one with somebody because Henry's going to run somebody over with that speed.
Right.
So it's going to be a different dynamic offense.
Okay. And
So
what
I'm
is-
going Baltimore.
What is the cons of the Chiefs?
The cons of the Chiefs is, well, last year, the defense, their offensive line was a little bit of a problem, but everyone's starting healthy right now.
Yeah.
I think the biggest con is the Baltimore's offense having Derrick Henry. And you
Okay.
have to get used to Derrick Henry on the field now.
Yep. Okay.
So what about you? Who you
I'm going to
picking?
take the Tennessee Titans to beat both teams. Just kidding.
They're gonna come out of nowhere.
Exactly. It's going to be a triple threat match. Okay.
That'd be an interesting concept.
I'll take the Chiefs
The
because
Chiefs?
they're at home. They left a bitter taste in their mouth last year when they lost. Part of it is Lamar Jackson has only beaten Patrick Mahomes one time in his career, and it was in Baltimore, and it was when Chiefs were kind of doing their little, with the Super Bowl and everything. I think he'll quote me on that. He's going to look it up. That's fine.
I'm gonna
But-
write down these picks real quick. That way we have a record of them.
I think if this game's in Baltimore, I do take Baltimore. I think home field is really it's the
Well,
first game of the season.
The
Everybody's
game's
gonna be
in
pumped
the
up and ready
game's
to go.
the game's in Kansas City because they always start on their home turf.
Yeah, and that's
Oh,
what
but
I'm
you're
saying.
saying if it was in
If it
Baltimore.
was in Baltimore, I would have took the Ravens. How about you, Jake?
Just because I hate Kansas City, Baltimore. I'm going
Okay.
Just get, oh yeah, in Denver, right?
Duh.
So I'm gonna put picks right here. Jake, KC.
We're ready. We got a question.
Amanda
Yeah,
says
Jake,
the Chiefs
Baltimore,
rock,
duh.
dudes.
Chiefs rock dudes. We're
I mean,
dudes.
I'm not saying the
We're
Chiefs don't
morons,
rock.
not dudes. I'm just kidding.
I'm not saying they don't rock.
He's a
Yeah.
dude. She's a dude.
I'm
Walter's
just
here.
for pick purposes, my money would be on Baltimore. I haven't seen the spread, so I don't.
Yeah.
Because if you are betting, by the way, we're doing straight up. I want to throw this out there. If you do sports betting, you're betting against the spread most likely because that's where you're going to make money. You're
Right.
not going to make money on straight up picks.
Right.
So I don't know what the spread is, but I'm pretty sure it's no more than like 1.5 to 2 points.
Okay. What's
Or
the-
no, 3 points. Because 3 points, I think I read somewhere that if you're a home team, you're automatically given like a point or
yeah,
2
you
points.
are.
So it's almost dead even.
Mm-hmm. So the next game is
The next game we're going to talk about is
is
LSU and because
USC.
the only reason we brought up that one first is because Amanda talked about it.
Yeah,
So LSU and USC college football tomorrow
in Vegas,
in Vegas,
neutral site.
neutral site, Sunday, no college, no NFL, so it's gonna be its only game.
It's only
Who's the starting quarterback for USC?
Not Caleb Williams.
I know that.
Gunther Woodward. I don't know.
Not Orgy. He's Michigan.
Well, Orgy's not the starting quarterback for Michigan.
No, it's Warren.
Davis Warren.
Davis Warren. So I will take LSU because I think yes, they didn't lose as much as USC. Brian Kelly going up against Lincoln Riley. I think LSU has a better defense than USC. So that's what I'm taking. I'll take LSU.
I'm gonna take LSU too because I
Yeah.
think they're a better team.
All
I
right,
think.
Zach. Okay, you're gonna go. We're gonna make it a clean sweep here or no?
Yeah, I'm taking LSU.
Okay.
I'm taking LSU. I think SEC is always dominant. LSU's getting better, right? I understand they lost
Jaden Daniels.
Jane Daniels, but they always reload. You know,
Yes.
and like you said, they have Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly is a great coach, I think. He's underrated because he's not like up there. Him and Chip Kelly, I think, are great coaches.
Did you say the quarterback was for USC?
We don't know.
I
We were
don't know. I
joking.
was
We're
joking.
joking.
Gunther Woodward.
Who is it?
I mean, they have 6 quarterbacks on the roster. I don't know who's starting. Got Miller Moss,
No, I don't know.
Jane Maeva, Jake Jensen, Dylan Gebbia, Gage Roy, and Jack Stupin.
I hope it's stupid, but I think it's the second guy you said.
It's Miller Moss.
Miller Moss.
He's their starter.
Yup.
So that was the first guy you said.
Well, who's the LSU's quarterback?
I don't know.
Hmm.
So we're all going LSU on that one.
Yep. Then the next game is
We're going to talk about the Packers for the next
Packers
game.
and
Packers
Eagles.
and Eagles in Brazil.
where he can't wear
Friday night on Peacock.
Yep.
Packers are wearing a green,
green. Okay.
but I think it's a certain shade of green that might be Philly's
Is it
green.
Philly is wearing like black.
I think so. I think they can't wear their green. I think that's the problem.
Garrett Nussmeyer at LSU.
Garrett
Okay.
Newsmeyer. I've heard of that name, but so I'm gonna start. Or no, you start because I started, then he started. You start. Who you got? Packers or Eagles?
I'm gonna go with Packers. I think they're doing pretty good. I think with Jordan Love, I think they're gonna pick up where they left off last season.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Green Bay is gonna take it. Only because I think Jordan Love, I think the offense and the defense is getting better. You've had Jordan Love came on at the end of the season last year.
Yeah.
He had that rough patch in the middle, but then just came
It was
on.
kind of a tale of two halves for both quarterbacks.
And you got a
First came
healthy
on
Christian
strong.
Watson. You got Romeo Dobbs, Reed, Wicks. You've got plenty of receivers because they're healthy.
It-
I think that their downfall will be no Aaron Jones and no AJ Dillon. I think that might be the
You
downfall.
got Josh Jacobs, man.
So you got Josh Jacobs, and
Come
then
on
you
now.
got I can't remember who the backup
Marshawn
is.
Lloyd.
Is it Lloyd?
I don't know if it's that's. I know it's one of the running backs. I don't know if that's backup.
I think that was him. There was a guy that I heard. I can't remember because he's third string, right? Because
But he
Dylan
is
got
good.
hurt. You're gonna know his name.
Yeah.
And then Musgrave and Kraft are a good 2 tight end combo.
Yep.
Guess who else had a great 2 tight end combo? The Patriots.
Yep.
And then decided, you know what? I'm gonna hang myself. That's not what happened. He got arrested and all that other stuff first. But
Did you have to throw that in there?
I mean, look, they made fun on the
You
roast
could
of
have
Tom
just said
Brady.
the Patriots and left it at that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Green Bay, not just because I'm a Green Bay fan.
Cancel.
I think Philly sometimes takes a while to get going.
Yeah.
But they're pro, and what could be the downfall as well for the defense is they got Saquon Barkley,
Yep.
and they don't have to give Saquon the Barkley the ball like the Giants did.
No.
It's again a Derrick Henry situation. You don't have to give it the ball 30 times. You can give it to him 10 and still win.
Yep. I'd taken the Packers. Moving on to the next game.
All right, so the next game we have is let's go with that's 4. We're gonna do 5, right? Or that's 3. We're gonna do 5.
We got
So we got NC State. Oh, because I'm gonna say the last one, the
Okay,
big
that's
one
fine.
for last. NC State and Tennessee, the Dukes Mayo kickoff
it'll be
in
Tennessee-
Charlotte, I believe.
Tennessee versus NC State's supposed to be the home team, but it's neutral site.
What's the game?
NC State, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
They're both ranked. I'm gonna go
I'm-
Tennessee.
I'm picking Tennessee because I'm excited to see what Nico
Actually-
can't pronounce his last name. Nico does. I heard some analysts picking him to be like a Heisman favorite this year based on his talent.
Actually, I'm gonna change my pick only because I'm going NC State. Lived
Okay.
in North Carolina for 4.5 years. I like NC State. I've seen NC State play, and they definitely came a long way.
Right.
And
Okay.
then who do you got? Then we'll go to a question.
Tennessee.
Tennessee, okay. And I mean Tennessee, I think it could win, but I'm going NC State. guys are
The
going
only reason I
Tennessee.
take Tennessee is just because they got better depth than NC State. NC State kind of scared me the other night with how they started. Not saying they hold that over, but Tennessee just looks too overmatched for them. So
And I think that's going to be Tennessee's downfall, right?
It could
Because
be,
NC
yeah.
State struggled and they got it going. I think that helps.
All right.
We got a question from the peanut gallery.
No, Jeff Taft says Tennessee, and Amanda chose Green Bay during y'all's picks.
Good job, Amanda.
cool. So then the next one is the big one
The
between
big one,
between
Mr.
me
Google
Mr.
and
Google.
Carl. So we got Texas and Michigan live from Ann Arbor College Game Day. Man, I can't wait for the atmosphere with Pat McAfee and Lee Corso in Ann Arbor. Great
Defending champs.
They
home
got
turf.
great atmosphere in Ann Arbor. Like you said, defending champs, so you know they're bringing the energy.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna lead off with Carl. You're gonna be last on this one
Okay.
because I think we know who you're picking. We're gonna lead off with Jake on this one. Jake, who do you got? Texas or Michigan?
Was because of their talent, and I think they have something to prove. I'm picking Texas.
Texas. Okay. What's Michigan's song? Do you know?
The Michigan song.
The Michigan.
It doesn't matter. Hook 'em horns. Let's go, Texas. All right. I'm not dragging out like Pat McAfee, but no, I'm picking Texas because I mean the national champions lost a lot of people.
Yes, they did.
Texas still has their quarterback Quinn. They still have decent players. I mean, they didn't lose their coach like Michigan lost. If Michigan had John Harbaugh,
Jim.
or Jen Harbaugh,
John's in Baltimore.
I know he's still in Baltimore. I would probably lean a little bit towards Michigan because I would trust that he would rebuild like that. Plus everything that's going on with Michigan right now, I don't know how that's going to affect their mindset going into that game, knowing that now the championship doesn't count.
What?
Yeah, they took away all their wins for like 2-3 years.
They haven't done it yet.
Yeah, no,
They
that's-
haven't.
I
But
heard-
they're
I
talking
think
about they're
it's like
losing
some
their
Ohio State
stripping
fan
all their
page.
wins for like 2 years. It's horrible. I don't know why they're going so hard on Michigan
I think it's some Ohio State
because it's
fan
not
page.
nothing anyone else hasn't
No.
done, and they're like taking away
Yeah, we don't rant
three
about
years
it,
of
so.
wins. Like it's ridiculous.
Chris Bruning and Jeff Taft both say Michigan, and
Okay.
he said Chris Bruning said that Michigan been recording practices already.
Oh, well, then you know what? This win doesn't count. They're going to take that away too.
Right. So why even play? So,
Let me guess who you're going to get. You're going to go with Ohio State, right?
I mean, Ohio State may be the better team of the two.
But you're going Michigan, right?
I mean, if you already know, why are you asking?
Well, I don't know. You could go. I'm just picking Texas.
Okay, yeah.
This is for a punishment, so you might change. I don't know.
You got to go with your team. But who do I think is going to win and who I want to win are two different things. Who I think is going to win, it should be the Longhorns. Longhorns are right up there. We already talked about it. They should be picked for a national championship. My team's rebuilding. I'm not going to go against them because, it's a big game. You don't ever go against your school. I'm not expecting you to go ahead and pick Ohio State when they're playing Wisconsin.
You don't know me very well because they can't beat Ohio State. No,
But-
but you're
but-
right. I wouldn't pick Wisconsin. I would pick Wisconsin.
But you know
every
in the
time.
back of your mind, like, you go into a game like this, you're not expecting.
Like if I'm
to win.
betting actual money, I'm not betting for Wisconsin.
No, and
I'm
not
putting my money on the other team.
But what am I looking
But for wearing a dress for 24 hours, I'll still pick my team.
But for what I'm looking for is how are they going to match up? This is going to measure how well they are doing. Like if they only lose by a field goal or a touchdown, maybe they're not as gone as we thought. But if they lose by like 21 and get blown out, okay, they need to be doing some retooling. So that's kind of what I'm looking at is that. So I'm picking Michigan, but who do I think is going to win? It has to be Texas.
So those are our picks. Again, for entertainment purposes only. Do what you want with these picks. So I just wrote this all down right now. We'll have a put it on paper and everything and keep track.
Typewriter down there or what? You can like just
so Jake and me pretty much have everyone the same except Tennessee and NC State.
Okay.
So pretty much if everyone loses, the only game that's gonna decide for me and him on last place is Tennessee NC State.
Right.
Your only difference between everyone is Michigan, because we both have Texas, and Kansas City. So if Kansas City wins, you have every other team with them except Michigan, Texas.
Yeah. Okay.
So pretty much Kansas City wins and then Texas wins. You both have one
But
win.
it's still early in the season. You guys could come right back next week and just slaughter the hell. Or I could come back next week.
No,
and
I'm just saying but that's
it's
why I think 5 to 7 games.
Yeah,
is
that
fine.
makes sense.
So you never have an even amount of games.
Right. And that's fine. I like that because you eventually after the 2 weeks you'll have those even amount of games.
And when I pitched this, people, I did ask them, do we want to do individual game picks, meaning like each pick different games, or do we want to kind of do what College Game Day does and we all pick the same game? We all agree the same because NFL, Fox NFL, they all pick different games.
Which I think is dumb.
Every once, like I think they do different for their super underdog, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, I think it's for their underdog pick, meaning like to get extra points.
Yeah.
That's when they pick one game each that's different.
Right.
But we're not going that far because
Easy, don't smack me with
that's
your
a
hands.
lot of. Well, you move closer. That's a lot of.
I haven't moved.
That's a lot of moving parts. So
Well,
You
you ready
smacked
for
me, I'm gonna
the
fist
cold
fight
take?
you.
yeah, let's wait. We got a
No.
question.
Okay.
There's 2 questions that were asked.
Hey, can I read the cold take this time?
2 questions that were asked that didn't pertain to the.
Next time you do that, please don't do that because it reminds me of next week. Just
Hook 'em horns, go.
Okay.
You do it even next week when they win.
So first question was, what do you guys think of the Redskins having to change their name?
I think
You know what I think is funny? That the Native Americans want it back.
Yeah.
They want the name Redskins back. So pretty much being woke broke in your face because they're like,
Yep.
hey, the logo you used was an actual like chief that means a lot. You didn't do your research. All you did was like, it's offensive. And you know who decided it was offensive? Us white people.
To me, I think
Not
it was
Native
kinda,
Americans,
Nope.
no one else. It was just people going, it's offensive, but you didn't ask these people.
You want my honest opinion? I have family that's native, and it's kind of stupid because some of these proceeds that they made went to Native American reservations to help them, and then changing their name, it doesn't
right. And if they were called the Washington Indians, or the Washington Native Americans, or the Washington Chiefs, or something, they wouldn't change it. It's because it's the name Red Skin. Your color,
Changed their name.
right?
To the Indians.
Right, but their mascot was also a red-skinned Indian, right?
Chief was it Wahoo or
Wahoo, I think.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's why it came is because the name was red skin.
But the Atlanta Braves.
But
took
again,
F off.
yeah,
Which
like
I
the Braves.
thought was
but-
cool.
But did you see their mascot's not a red skinned Native American?
Right.
It's not named red skin. I
know
think
that,
that's
but
where
it
it came
was
from. But I
Totally
still think
cool.
it's stupid.
I was disappointed that Cleveland didn't name themselves the Cleveland Blue Ducks for Billy Madison. That's all I got.
Or anything besides a bridge. They're named after a bridge.
I know.
Guardian is a bridge. Like what?
I thought it was pretty cool when Atlanta State the Braves came out and said, "We're not changing our name. It's not offensive. They totally want to F off and just leave us alone." I
And
thought
what
that
was
funny
what was
as
the
hell.
other question?
The other question was, what do you think the best fantasy team name is
AJ
Ever?
Hawk-Tua.
ever?
I don't know. I like AJ Hawk too.
Thank you.
Oh, my name, CD's nuts.
That's
I don't want to
fine,
see your nuts.
but-
I want to Hawk-Tua
but
spit
you
on that
gotta
thing.
realize, okay, we're going with pop culture references, like got him. What was it? D's nuts. Like you got this. D's nuts or whatever it was back in like 2007, and then you got something brand new, who she's touring on podcast, meeting Matt Rife and saying get a mop, and now creating a new. Oh, I need a mop because I saw Matt Rife and I'm so wet. Whatever. You got AJ Hawk Tua over here, I think you're playing on the reference.
Yeah.
But giving me a Chubb is also a decent one.
Yep.
I like Stairway to Evans or Love Actually for Jordan Love. When you use players' names and using these
I got one.
things, I think is great. Like I think that's always going to be good.
One I had a couple
Mahomes
years
and
ago.
Garden is great too.
One I had a couple years ago was Kirk had sex with my cousins.
That was in Alabama. That'd be number one right there.
And then Pet My Devin Bush was also one up there.
My Devin Bush. But yeah, I like Mahomes and Garden. We
Another one I
have some
had
good ones.
was
You know what a good
Touch
one
My
is?
Out.
You know what a good one is? And ESPN needs to realize this is a good name.
That
Spicy
one?
burritos. That's a good one. ESPN. Why did you say spicy is too bad, but you could have CD's nuts or AJ Hawk Tua or giving me a Chubb, but you can't have the word spicy?
But
Get
yeah,
out of here.
you know how many people looked up AJ Hawk after I put that on there, and like with work and everything like that. Like, who's AJ Hawk? And then they seen him, and I'm like, you guys know he's on Pat McAfee show, right?
I mean, forget that he's on the Packers. Exactly, Pat McAfee show.
So,
But yeah, AJ Hawk Tua I think is a good name. But
there's nobody else
mean,
in the league that has.
I mean,
that
I gotta
name.
Google like great names ever. I mean, just names I've heard. Those are good names.
So Chris Bruning, real quick. Chris Bruning says change the logo to a red skin peanut instead.
Not like
And
it.
He also says Ertz win effort.
Ertz win Efert.
Yeah, Ertz win effort.
Oh,
I was thinking Earth, Wind, Fire almost.
okay.
So, all right.
Cold take.
Cold take.
Okay, this week's cold take is: where is your dream vacation location and why?
Dream vacation
And there's a
location.
heart with an arrow through it. I don't know why. It's weird.
So do you have one yet?
That's fine.
Yeah, I got one.
You got one? You got one?
I do.
Okay, so you ready? Do you want to start it off?
Yeah. My dream vacation is it's a little nerdy. It's Washington D.C. and seeing like the historical sites there.
Okay.
How's that dirty?
Nerdy.
Oh, nerdy.
I thought he said dirty too. I was like,
Nerdy!
whoa, I thought he was say Amsterdam or something for some reasons. But okay. Nerdy.
Seeing like the historical
It's not
sites.
nerdy. I think that
I think that'd be
Capitol,
pretty
cool.
all the
I've seen them.
monuments
Yeah.
and all that.
I've seen them and I think it's cool, right?
seen them
Unnamed soldier and tomb and all that.
Yeah.
Great stuff. I mean,
They, and not only that, but like just the history of the town, all
Okay.
the presidents and all that stuff. Okay. No, but National Cemetery, like the flame, was it JFK Memorial with the
Yeah.
flame and everything?
yeah,
They
you
never-
got
goes out.
Vietnam Memorial, all that stuff. I mean, it's
Air and Space
great. I've
Museum.
been there. It's not nerdy at all. That's history.
That's actually
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That's my
Makes
dream
mine
vacation.
pretty fucking shitty. I'm not gonna lie.
I
Sorry.
mean, I don't know if mine's crappy, but I mean, what's yours?
Mine? Florence, Italy.
It'd be cool.
Just because it'd be like romantic. I've always wanted to go to Italy. It'd be something to take the wife to. I've always wanted to go to Italy.
Specifically in Florence, would you want to see?
Just to go there and say that I've been there and see stuff.
You want to know mine?
What?
We're going to London and Paris. No, I'm just kidding. That's Joe Hendry. But I've been to
really
London.
have a stiffy for
But no, my all time, like I want to go to, and I've been wanting to go here forever. I want to go to Iceland.
Okay.
Everywhere, Reykjavik probably because it's the capital, but Iceland. I've seen pictures.
Okay.
I've heard stories. Mighty Ducks might have created it back in the day when the Iceland team. But I've always wanted to go, and I think they did one on Netflix with Zac Efron going around
They're
places.
stronger, faster, got more facial hair.
Exactly. But have you seen I think Netflix, it was like with Zac Efron and somebody else, and they went to Iceland, and it just like the fjords, the everything. In fact, one of the questions on Bible was like, what place is known for fjords? I'm like, that's a horrible question. I was like, maybe Iceland, but you have like Iceland, you have Norway, you have Alaska,
Right.
a lot of places known for fjord, but just the glaciers and everything. I would love to go Viking history, stuff like everything, right?
Right. I'm kind of glad we got away from the food. Not gonna lie. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Talk about food, right? And then, but it's also tied with Finland.
Yeah.
But I think that whole area up there is kind of like on the same level. But Finland's another place we had a foreign exchange student for Finland. They talked about it. I've like history, I like culture,
Yep.
and they talked about that. I've seen pictures. I know a lot of heavy metal concerts. I'm not big into heavy metal, but it'd be cool to see some of those concerts.
Uh,
Viva La Bam went to Finland a couple times. and it just looked great. Watching that episode was like, hey, like just seeing the scenery, right? It's like what made me fall in love.
Right.
I'm all about natural beauty
Right.
and culture and history.
We almost could have had the podcast in Poland, and we struck out there.
I know we were like 30% of our audience was in Poland on shorts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I think
you said nerdy. We don't think it's nerdy at all because we all like history
Mhm.
up here. So I don't think any of us are considered nerds.
A couple others would be like Alaska and maybe the Bermuda, like that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, Bermuda Triangle. I definitely want to go there see some ghost ships.
You got any other
Me
ones
too.
besides what's Washington D.C.? Real quick,
Anything international?
Probably
please don't say Puerto Rico.
I mean, it's still technically international.
probably Hawaii because I always thought that was pretty
That's
beautiful.
a freaking state.
That's like saying I'm leaving the country. I'm going to Hawaii.
That's not international. That's the domestic house of pancakes.
Okay.
More like pineapple.
But no, Hawaii is a good pick. Dude. I'm just giving you crap.
Okay. Assholes.
Question.
So Jeff Taft says Ireland.
Yo,
Zachary Anderson says Bora Bora. Christopher Bruning says Osaka, Japan.
okay.
He wants to go see Mario Land.
It's a me. I'm
It's a me.
And then Jeff Taft.
Carl
says,
Taft.
Carl, how about some ribs?
How about some what?
Ribs.
Because you mentioned food.
I don't know what that means. What am I doing?
You mentioned food. I'm glad we got away from food. So he said, "How about some ribs?"
Oh, ribs. I thought you said ribs.
I did say ribs.
You did say ribs? Okay. Oh, yeah. I mean,
I
okay.
did say ribs. Why? Oh, we're saying the same word here.
I heard RIVS, not
Oh,
RIVS.
ribs. I thought you said ribs. I'm like, didn't
That's
we
why I
just
was
say
confused.
ribs?
I didn't
We're all
know.
saying ribs up here, but we don't know what we're saying.
So, do we need to dissect Stairway to Evans fantasy football team?
Well,
now?
first, if there's any questions about anything we've talked about,
I
anything
answered
at
a
all,
question and I made myself look like a moron.
if there's any questions about anything at
That's
all,
why
we
we're called the Three
Yeah.
Morons.
laugh or life or anything like that, go ahead and feel free now. This is our question and answer segment.
Carl Taft. I like that. That was an awesome name.
Carl, you are now a Taft.
Apparently, I got adopted. Can you get adopted at 36?
Yeah, you can, I
You
guess.
can adopt it
You can change your name to whatever you want.
I believe
I learned
in
that
Carl
from-
Taft.
I learned
You
that
like
from
that?
friends.
You
I like that.
That was
I like
awesome,
that.
Boop. Joe Henry, you're gonna bow down to me.
Okay,
I'm
I don't know
coming for your
these-
title for the
Okay,
XT
I don't know
championship.
these two strangers. I'm gonna leave.
Okay,
If he wins, I mean.
so we have nothing yet. Okay, so we got to dissect the.
Yep, I'm
fantasy
getting in
team.
there right now.
Oh, you're getting in there right now. Jake, how's
Stairway
your-
to Evans.
How's your
All
weight
right.
going, dude? How's your week, Jake?
I got it if you want to go.
And your mic fell down, so we're gonna keep talking.
It's been pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good. So she
All right.
does have Mike Evans on her fantasy team.
She
That's-
does.
It's Jay's wife, Jessica.
And I think we almost all have it. I got Nick Chubb. You have CD Lamb, don't you?
No, I do not have CD.
Oh, so I'm grabbing it for you. Okay, so
AJ
her-
Hawks manager my team. I was kidding.
her team is at starting quarterback right now. She has Jordan Love.
Okay.
Then her running back is Bijan Robinson and Joe Gibbs from Detroit and Bijan from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Love is Green Bay if no one knows. Mike Evans, receiver from Tampa Bay. Jalen Waddle, receiver from Miami. David Njoku, tight end from Cleveland.
Okay.
White from Tampa Bay.
Rashad White.
Rashad White, yes, running back. I wanted to say Reggie White. I know that wasn't it. Ravens defense.
Okay.
And then the kicker is Evan McPherson. Her bench.
That's Cincinnati, right? Evan McPherson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her bench is McLaurin from the wide receiver. I think it's Terry.
Yeah. From the Washington football
Yeah.
team.
The Washington.
I'm not calling them the Commanders or commies. No.
William, Williams from Denver. Javonte Williams from Denver, the running back. Kyler Murray, the quarterback from Arizona. Noah Fant, tight end from Seattle.
Okay.
Lance McConkey.
Yep, Lance McConkey, Chargers wide receiver. Lloyd, that's the running back. Lloyd,
Marshawn Lloyd.
Marshawn Lloyd.
I thought I said that.
I thought you said something. I didn't know if you said Lloyd.
Wait, we really can't hear tonight, can we?
I know you said Marshawn.
I thought I was supposed to be the deaf one here.
Right, so that's the running back, and then Jalen Wright, another running back.
Thought I
So
was supposed to be the one need hearing
they,
aid.
they have 3 running backs on their bench.
Okay.
They have their flex as a running back, and they have 2 starting running backs. So they got what,
So-
6 running backs?
Yeah. The only thing that concerns me, and I like this guy, don't get me wrong, Njoku.
He's injury prone.
Injury kind of prone. He is
He
a
is.
great tight end. Don't get me wrong. But when he
can
stays,
get
when he
injured.
can be injury prone.
I think
But everything else looks solid to me.
I think her first week projected is 124.
Jeez.
Yeah, so
Who's she
she's
playing?
Let's see the matchup.
That's not me. I know that.
I think she plays.
Okay.
Let me see,
Jordan Love.
I gotta go to matchup. My bad.
Okay.
So matchup Stairway to Heaven is playing
Yep.
Jalapeno on a Stick, which is my mom. And she's projected to win 124 to 117.
Not a bad matchup. There, though.
But that matchup goes into Aaron Rodgers.
We ain't gonna talk about the other teams. We talk about.
But I'm just
Stairway
saying,
to Heaven.
like, so
Yeah.
you Love versus Rodgers. You got Green Bay right there.
Green
Look at
Bay and the
that.
Jets.
If
If he plays more than 4 plays, he lasted longer this year than he did last. Oh,
he lasted one more plays better. I think so. Like, so you got Jordan Love against Philly. You got Robinson Atlanta against Pitt. Gibbs Detroit versus the Rams. Evans, I think is going to be a big one. Tampa Bay versus Washington. I think that's going to be a big one.
His 12th season. We're going to have 1,000 yards or more and be the first receiver ever in NFL history to do
Waddle is Miami versus Jacksonville. I think that's going to be a good matchup. Njoku is Cleveland versus Dallas. I think that might be a downfall because he is questionable right now. He's playing a great defense in Dallas, and Dallas defense always plays great beginning.
Yep.
Which, by the way, that will be Tom Brady's first
but
game.
always fold in the
Browns,
postseason.
The Cowboys and Browns.
Cowboys is Tom Brady's first game.
He'll be asleep by the second quarter. Just saying.
Sorry. And then the flex, right? Tampa Bay versus Washington White. The defense, Baltimore versus Kansas City, that could also be a downfall. You could lose points because of how many points and yards you give up.
Is it though? Because Kansas City only averaged like 20-something points per game.
Yeah,
but
again, I don't know. Only because Kadarius Toney's gone. Maybe you got the drops gone. Maybe someone catches the ball and can run a little bit. And then you got the kicker, Cincinnati versus New England. So
Evan
McPherson's a good kicker, though.
Yeah, but I expect Cincinnati to put
score
touchdowns
and not field goals where you get the points.
Right. So,
where do you think she might finish in the league?
Hopefully,
without injuries, considering no more team updates or anything like this is her team going forward. I think
I have to be serious, or I could be joking.
You can be whatever you want.
Ooh, I like those.
We don't judge here.
No, we don't. Top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah.
I can see it.
I can see that too.
Again,
she
Jordan,
stays the course with her.
Right.
With
Jordan Love has tremendous upside this year. If people stay healthy and everything like that. You got Evans, who has tremendous upside with Baker Mayfield. Right. I can see top 5.
Okay.
So you say top 5, I say top 5. Do you say top 5? Or
Yeah,
do you think maybe more middle?
I say top 5. I think with that team, I think she can go pretty far.
But I will say one thing
because I'm also looking at the bench, right? If David Njoku does start slipping, you got Noah Fant, Seattle, and he's the number 1 guy in Seattle. I think at tight end, right?
I think so, but he's also been having injury problems,
right? But I mean, Seattle has Lockett, Metcalf.
And
they go, but
Ohio State receivers, Smith, the Jibba or whatever. I can't say.
But Geno Smith likes to throw to his tight end too, because
Yep.
if he's running on the go and you got the tight
very
end.
good spread the ball around quarterback.
I think her biggest downfall though is she has too many running backs, 6 running backs. You got 3 on her bench, you got 1 on the flex, you got the 2 starters.
Right.
I think that's going to be her downfall because she's going to have to get rid of some of those running backs, which is fine. You're going to have to get rid of some of those running backs, get rid of the bench ones, keep the ones that are the starter and the flex,
get one in case
to get some receivers and stuff.
It could be a downfall. It could also be a positive because if one of her starters does get hurt, she has that leverage to drop one of those running backs for let's say quarterback or a tight end for Njoku or Fan or something.
But this stage, I've looked, there's not many receivers out there and stuff. So if you do need a receiver, you're definitely
we have a 17-week season. I guarantee you there is a gem in that wide receiver free agent pool. We just haven't found it yet.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be.
There's always going to be.
But we're not talking we're talking no injuries, no nothing. That might be her downfall is too many running backs.
There's several gems in there.
Oh, yeah. See what he did there?
But, yeah, so, I mean.
I think if we're good, No more questions or answers. We'll leave it open for about a good 30 seconds. No, nothing coming in.
Nothing coming in. Okay,
All
so
right.
Nothing pertinent.
So with the picks next week, we got the NFL starting on Thursday.
yeah, we got the NFL coming back. We got some good college football. Next week we'll go into, our picks will be more NFL centered because how we're doing it is obviously we're not going to give you picks for next Sunday when we have a show on Saturday.
Yeah.
Or we're not going to give you picks on, Saturday when we're starting a show and Michigan starting. Like we're not going to give you those picks. So that's how we're going to do it going forward.
I know eventually we'll get back into the other sports like baseball. WNBA is getting ready to wrap up.
Oh,
Baseball's-
speaking of WNBA, I'm glad you said that. Let me throw that out there. Caitlin Clark versus Chicago again. She became the first player in WNBA history to score 80 points in the same season against one opponent.
Nice.
They won like 100 to like 81 or something like that.
That team, the Indiana Fever,
and it wasn't even
came
it
on
wasn't
strong.
even it wasn't even that close when I was watching the game. It was like over 20 points. I think they
Right.
just allowed it. But yeah, ever since Angel Reese was like, "Oh, I got the ring," I think Caitlin Clark's had her number.
Yeah.
When they play each other, again,
And
different positions, but still.
right. And like I said, we got baseball. The wild card race is heating up.
And
We
we
got
got that
some
baseball
teams
game
here,
coming
some-
up, by the way.
We got some teams that are right there. They can either go here or here.
Speaking of,
And here-
I saw on Facebook someone's like, "Yeah, the Cubs now decided to play like All Stars after 100 games or something like 27 games left. Now they want to play great. 'Cause they're
What?
second place in the division. They're still down by like 10
10
games.
10
So
to the
I mean,
Brewers.
with 27 games left, well, whatever's going on right now, there's a
you
game
got some
going on.
got some good wild card going on with Kansas City and Cleveland, Detroit, and now it has a winning record. I don't know if they get in, but that is a team that could really do some damage for these teams trying.
And
to
then you
get
got the White Sox having 17 people attend the game.
Zachary Anderson wants to know who you guys actually think will win fantasy football.
Who do we think will actually
Based on
win
what the teams look like.
based on the teams?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, we all have great teams. There's
I think we can all vouch for each other. Well, all vouch for our own team. I think because I think right now it's so early that we can just say, yeah, I think my team can win, or you think you're going to win.
Yeah,
Nick
I mean-
thinks he's going to win.
I mean, you look at some people's teams, they got like Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry on the team as their
Mhm.
star running backs, and Cooper Kupp as a receiver, and Garrett Wilson as the receiver. Like
Right.
that's a great solid thing. But if one of them goes down, they're going to be screwed. Right?
I could very well
Like
we
that
just-
is one team. That is one team. Person's team has Henry, Jones, Wilson, and Kupp.
Who is that?
Me.
Yeah.
Like that's a great wide receiver team. But if
Right.
one of them goes down, you're looking at the backup. You got Reed and you got Dobbs, you got Douglas. Like you don't have that many, right?
No.
They went heavy strong on some receivers and some stuff because I figured 12 teams you're gonna have to have great receivers.
We
and
would have
running
had
backs.
10, but I asked a lot of people. They all said yes. I'm like, well, we can't exclude you from the league now since we already asked. Well, let's ask one more and make it a 12-team league.
Right? Yeah, and
And I'm
you
not
can't
gonna
have
tell-
11,
No,
so you have to have one more. But anything more than 12, we would have been.
we've already
scraping
had.
the barrel.
We've already actually had a couple of trades in the league too.
Yes, we did. So I gotta look at that person's team because I don't know. It's not the same. It's not the same team they started with by far.
No. And it's kind of like Madden where you actually go in and you're like, okay, I'm going to take over this franchise, but then you completely dismantle it. So what was the point of taking over that franchise when you're just going to completely dismantle everything? Like,
Exactly.
you could have just went with like
you pick these people and you're like, you know what? I don't like any of them. You know what? I picked all Bears, and you know what? I don't want the Bears.
no. So it's like, and you're doing this before the season starts. I can
It's
see
actually-
it if you
it's
do it
actually
during
what-
the year.
Actually, you said like you go and dismantle the team. It's more like, you know what? I love the history of the Bears. Let me go pick the Bears. And then you not only dismantle the team, but then you uproot the team to a different city. And you're like now a completely different team. It's like, why would you change the roster and change the city location?
Puerto Rico.
Jeff says trading is fun.
Trading may be fun, but you know what? So is the team you drafted.
Yeah. And I think one of his
Get with it.
get with it. Okay. So
Send us some trades, and maybe we'll accept.
Wow. If he plays me week 1,
He ain't trading you nobody.
he ain't trade with me. No. Afterwards, after I beat you, then you can have my player. No, I'm just kidding. Or after you
I did
beat me.
put a trade. I was thinking about not doing a trade deadline as a commissioner, but then I realized, when it comes to playoff time, say, and I'm not saying this would happen, but say I'm in it, let's say Jeff's in it. Let's say Jason's in it, and let's just say Jackie's in it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in it, Jeff's in it, Jackie's in it, Jason's in it. Well, Jason's gonna go to Jessica. Jason's gonna go to you, maybe. Jackie might go to you, Megan, right? No one's gonna go with Jeff, maybe. Maybe he comes to Jake or somebody. And then I go with I got Bill or I got Lynn, I got Bailey, and I start trading to get the better teams, right? I felt like if you didn't do a trade deadline, that might happen. I don't think it would, but it could. And
Well,
then, and if I didn't put in, if it's going on and I'm too busy to notice and it goes through, it's kind of like unfair advantage. Like you're literally trading with someone because they're out of it, you're not.
I'll put this out there right now. If I start off 0-7, 0-8, anybody that wants to could come talk.
And that's fine because if it's right before the trade deadline and you're just doing what most teams do, fire sale, and you're just like, okay, I'm 0-7 out of 18 weeks.
Yeah,
I only got 11 more games left.
I'm pretty much settled with the fact that I'm not going to win.
If me and him are like 7-0, you might have lost.
I'm going to have some offers, so I'm just going to put that out there. If I'm down in the dumps and I'm not winning, open to talk from the team. Just saying.
So next week, though, we'll see where we are staying with the picks. We'll have our first fantasy games going on, so we will give some recaps on that.
Yep.
And then we'll dive into some of the NFL matchup for picks and maybe some that didn't make the picks.
Yep. Do we have a big board? Do we have a big board topic for next week?
You know what? I think we should.
Well, we always do.
No.
What's your?
I think our big board should be, since the start of the NFL, our favorite NFL, like not teams, but like teams that were assembled, like the 94 Colts or the 2010, like best teams assembled, we think were. Like the 85 Bears, best defense kind of. Or 2002 Ravens defense, right?
I thought you were going to say favorite NFL moment, and I was going to be when Antonio Brown crane kicked the punter.
Or how about when David Tyree had gum on his head by Instinct and did you see that commercial? And it's like, what? This guy never plays, and then he goes in with the gum.
Jeff said he's got to go.
All right, see ya.
See you guys. See you next week. But we're logging off too.
Yep. So the big board will be best teams.
Best teams. So like if you want to do
years.
like the 2002 Ravens defense, and then the 85 Ravens or Bears defense, the Patriots of 2011 or 12 or when they were undefeated and stuff
07,
like that.
yeah.
07. So, but yeah, we'll go over that. So that's a little bit extra research for us to kind of go over some stats and everything. But yeah, other than that, you got anything else?
Nope.
You got anything else?
Last question.
Oh, we do got one question.
Zachary Anderson says, "What does everyone drive?" I know Jake drives an F-150, although he said something different.
I drive people crazy.
I drive people nuts.
I drive my parents' Kia Optima, 2016
There you go.
hybrid.
What did he say?
What did he say?
What did he say?
What did he say? What?
You
He said something else.
Oh, he said that Jake drives an F1 shitty.
But yeah, everyone have safe.
Yep.
You be safe out there.
Everyone have safe.
Everyone be safe.
Fast.
It's late, okay? Everyone stay safe, and we will see you next week.
Like
Like
and
subscribe.
Remember, click twice.